The next place that I went to, it was way more independent. Like, I was definitely like my own boss, period. Just like I said, I learned a lot of what to do and what not to do. Whenever I moved over to this new location, like I feel like this is when T.Techniques came around. Before this, my Instagram handle was just Tanisha. It's pretty boring. I actually changed it a couple times. At first it was, what was it, like Makeup Domino? What the heck is that? I don't know. I was into doing makeup at the time. Now I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, it was Makeup Domino. Then it was just Tanisha. Then it was Styles by Tanisha Barnes. And when I moved over to this new place, I was like, everybody has these cool Instagram names. Like, I need to come up with something. And I don't know. It just, T.Techniques popped in. And luckily it wasn't already used. And I mean, I just went with it. Then I felt like a cool kid, like everybody else. So business practices, right? I learned what not to do. When I was at the last booth rental salon, I literally was just making money and spending money. At the time I was married, so that was like a safety net for me, and my money was pretty much my money and his money was my money. So I really didn't, I didn't have to worry about that. But during that time period, I actually split with him and got a divorce. And so I don't know what it is about divorces and pregnancies, but you just go into overdrive. It's like, all right, I gotta do this. So I already had hustle, but this was like, it was like another level. So at the time, like I said, I was just making money and spending money. I didn't know what I was making. I didn't know what I was doing. And this is when numbers kind of came into play. I actually ended up meeting somebody very near and dear to my heart. And, he taught me, he just taught me so much. I learned so much about like budgeting, numbers, because you got to understand, like, I'm this single mom, 2 kids, 2 younger children. I just got a divorce, and I'm just like, I can't, I don't have good credit. I can't get my own apartment. And even if I did get it, I don't think I could pay for it. How am I gonna do? I was just freaking out. I was so scared. Like, I feel like I cried a lot. It was like one of the toughest like periods in my life. And just having him come on and like teach me, just having somebody really just sit down with you and like pull out a piece of paper and ask you what your expenses are, and ask you, how many clients do you do? I had 2 different online booking systems, and then I was taking cash. So there was no way I could just keep track of everything. But, like I said, during that time period, I ended up getting on one online booking system. So that just consolidated all of my clients. It consolidated all of my, how was all my business transactions as far as like money. That was like the big key right there. Just put everybody on one system, track your cash, track your credit cards, and that way you'll know what you're able to do. So I was like, okay, I can do this. I could do this. At the time, I feel like I was averaging, maybe 3,000 a month? Maybe, I don't know. But that was crazy. Man, that's crazy just thinking about it. So maybe 3,000 a month. And after that, it was like, okay, now you got to put yourself on payroll. I was like, what? What is it? Me? Why do I have to put myself on payroll? Because you got to understand, like, as stylists living in Atlanta, you just make so much money. Like, all you want to do is flex. Like, all you want to do is look like you have it, but you're probably sleeping on an air mattress when you go home. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, with the divorce and with me moving to a new salon, it was so important for me to just really get my shit together. Like, for real, I just had to figure it out. So I've consolidated all of my transactions. I'm counting all my cash and putting it in my bank account instead of putting it in my purse and spending it. Decided to get a new tax levy, so I'm doing everything correctly. And I mean, things are just going good, right? Everything's going great. I also, during this time, decided that I couldn't keep waiting on the product guy to bring me the stuff that I need, right? I'm just using a little bit of everything from, the last salon that I was at. And a lot of times, I think what happens is when you get a consistent product person, you don't really care what the product is. You'll figure it out. You'll make it work. But when I moved, I stopped seeing her. So during this time, the new product guy comes on, and I started getting a little bit here and there. I actually went to a class. So they give classes all the time, and I go to my first class, and at the time I'm using this particular foam that's like really big. If you have short hair, you've probably used this foam before. And I was just like, okay, I got one question. And in the class, right, I'm that person in the class that's like, hey, is it better than so-and-so? And they were looking at me like, what's wrong with her? Like, I know now that I'm an educator, I know in their head, they was just like, really? Like, why are you asking me? Like, why? So she was like, yes. I used to use that as well, and now I use this. So I think that was my first product that I purchased from the line. And then I started trying a little bit of everything. The product rep at the time, he would just kind of come in every Friday consistently, and I would just test little things out here and there. I feel like at one point I would pick up something that I had and ask him, what's like this or what's similar to this, or either that or I asked one of my other stylist friends. But before I knew it, I had all Influence hair care products. Like, I had every last product. Everything I could think of, I had it.